Are you worried or excited about the idea of AI replacing accountants? Hi, I'm Patti Scharf, CPA and partner at Acuity. Today, I'm going to talk about AI and its impact on accounting for e-commerce sellers. It turns out I did a video on this topic about 6 years ago, just under 6 years ago. So I was really curious to see if my predictions held true. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Also, keep in mind when you're watching this video, which you can find right here, that I was kind of preaching to other accountants. This one is more all-inclusive, and I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about how it impacts e-commerce sellers. Since we're talking about accounting, let's use bank feeds as an example of showing you the evolution of technology over the years. So at the risk of sounding like your grandmother, I was there back in the day before bank feeds existed. You would literally have to wait for the bank statement, the paper bank statement, to come from the bank like the third or fourth week of the following month after the month closed to get the information you needed to reconcile the account. The next step was you could download a CSV file from the bank and you could manually import it into your accounting software. So you could, in essence, have bank feeds, but you had to do all the work to get it out of one system and add it to another system. Very few accounts actually knew how to do that. And then the next evolution was bank feeds coming in directly from your banks and credit cards and just getting added to the accounting system now. So as you can see, it's not that like what we're doing has changed at all. It's just that it's better, faster, easier, more reliable, less errors. And that's what technology is doing for us. So now I want to get back to that video that I had talked about earlier. It was 6 years ago, and there were a couple of things that stuck out with me. The first thing was I had mentioned that Xero was, even 2 years before that video, so 8 years ago now, Xero was able to accurately code transactions with 90% accuracy. 8 years ago, 90% accuracy, like that's crazy. And I'm not sure that AI is going to ever be able to get us to 100%. And I think it's because okay, let me just give you an example. So you're at a store, you're buying something from a store, it doesn't matter where, and you accidentally use your personal card instead of your business card. What is AI going to do with that? Like, they don't know inherently that you use the wrong card. They're just going to code it based on the best guess that they have. So even if it's a good guess, it's still going to require some kind of human intervention. And those kinds of things happen all the time. AI is not going to be able to say, hey, you are commingling your business and personal, and that is not a good thing to do in your business. These are problems with the notion of AI being able to just take over 100% and do all of your accounting. Although I didn't explicitly say this in the video, I was definitely alluding to the fact that I felt that accountants would have to meet the business owners where they are. So for you as an e-commerce seller, you don't care how the sausage is made. You want your questions answered. You want to know how your business is doing and how you can make it better. And just churning out financial statements and giving them to you isn't a way to achieve that. The value is not in the bookkeeping. The value is in the insight that accountants are able to provide to you, right? So let me give you an example. Close to 20 years ago, I was at this business and I was new to the business. I went to the clients, basically went around and visited different clients and found out what they were doing, what services we were providing, things like that. And I will never forget this one woman. I went to go visit her at her office because, that was the thing back then. And I asked what we were doing, and she said, "Oh, well, you're sending me financial statements every month." And she opens up her drawer, and there's a stack of monthly financial statements in there. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know how to read them, so I just put them in there, and I guess it's right." Like, like, what does that say about it? No wonder sellers don't like working with accountants if that's the kind of experience that they're having, right? So I knew that AI was going to change that dynamic, but it wasn't actually changing anything. It just brought to light the things that business owners always wanted from their advisors, but they weren't getting them. Advising business owners is something that requires human connection. Just because you have financial statements, and this is where AI can't help you. If I'm meeting with you and I see that you are burning the candle at both ends, that may not be reflected in the financial statements, but I'm still going to say you should maybe hire somebody to help you out, because I am a business advisor. I am a counselor for you to have a happier, healthier business and achieve the goals that you want. So, how has AI been changing accounting for e-commerce sellers? And I will preface this by saying I understand my audience. E-commerce sellers, man, they are rolling up their sleeves. They're diving headfirst into that AI pool. They are using it for product photos and preparing scripts and all kinds of marketing and voiceovers and all kinds of things. And so I think it's natural to assume that because it has transformed so much of what you do on that side, that AI is impacting everything. But I think when it comes to accounting, I would be, I would, I would just be careful that I believe the hype at this moment in time exceeds the reality. I think that a lot of the places where you would think it would help a lot with like coding things automatically and all of that, well, we've been doing that for like 12 years now. So that doesn't feel that new to me. It may be a little bit more seamless. It might be a little bit faster and easier, but overall, that's not what's transforming the accounting space at the moment. And AI is specifically the way I've seen it being used in accounting products is more on like help screens where you ask them a question and it gives you some answers and that sort of thing. It might make the software setup go a little faster. It might improve the OCR a little bit, but it's tweaking at this point more than transforming your accounting software. So I would just caution you to take all that hype with a grain of salt. I'd say even on other tools like that we use, Airtable, Zapier, Process Street, those kinds of things, they have AI built in now, and they have some pretty cool, robust things, but it still doesn't change the tasks that I'm doing. It just, again, makes things a little better, faster, easier than it used to be. So what about the next 6 years? Here's my little prediction of where I think this is going. And I mean, you guys, nobody knows where things are going to end up. This is a meteoric event, to make up a word. I feel like nobody knows where it's going to end up, but I have a little bit of gut feeling about some trends that might be taking place. Let me give you an example before I like actually tell you my prediction. So I was in this online group where we all build automations and things like that. And somebody was sharing about how they built an automation to respond to people in LinkedIn when there's a new post. And somebody else was saying, pretty soon we're just going to have our bots talking to our other bots. And it made me think probably what we're going to be missing out on in the upcoming years. And we're going to be, and when I say missing, I mean missing, like feeling like we're missing, is human connection. I think that when there's too much technology where humans should be, people feel it. And what ends up setting you apart is the human component, right? So, and I was literally like 10 minutes away from recording this video, and somebody in on our team posted this message. We'll put in the video. Had to share, I was talking with a new client today, and he told me about trying to get us access to his local bank and how he actually got to talk to a human and how that person called him back 3 times, making sure he resolved the issue. I said, wow. And he said, yep, that's why I switched to that bank. And I think that as AI gets better and better, that human connection is going to become more and more rare and more valuable to people. So I think when it comes down to it, people want tech to do tech things and people to do people things. And I think that's where we're going. I hope you like this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you later.